Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
Technology has been kind of rude to me lately. With I've been
your internet issues. We talked about that. Was that last week?
Last like 2 weeks have been like week and a half, 2 weeks have been. It was hit or miss, and then all of a sudden it was just such a nightmare that just constantly on with my ISP, text coming out. And yesterday you and I streamed, and it was beautiful. So they fixed. It was obviously not even anything on my side. They ended up repairing, I think, the pedestal that provides to the node that provides for the cul-de-sac. So they rebuilt something, they did something, and it was good to go. But it was a testament to how very dependent on technology I've become, and it would be kind of fun to dive into technology's journey and go back to some retro,
like the invention of the wheel. How far back we going?
Well, the wheel wasn't invented until
maybe since we're
about
born.
10 years after I was born. No, we'll go to let's go. Let's start early in our days because technology has come so far. It's fun to think about retro appliances and just entertainment devices that we have used. And
appliances, didn't even give any thought to appliances.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start there. But what was the first piece of technology you remember using as a kid?
I mean, other than like a TV, you think?
Oh, like TV definitely.
Like TV, I'd say for everybody.
But back then they weren't even the same as they are now. We're talking I think the first TV that I remember, or at least my parents having, it was a CRT, obviously, but it was one of those where it had it was like a piece of furniture. Like it looked good. Like it had a cabinet with a built-in speaker, and it was like wood, and you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, it was like old school with the knobs.
Yep.
Yeah, the knobs on the front.
I remember
the remote control, the clicker. The clicker. I'm talking. I know there was an old school language for this thing. It didn't have a cord though. It was wireless, which was like
huge, mind blowing. Yeah. Like how is this possible?
Because before then they had the clicker with a wire all the way to the TV that you'd stretch across the room.
Yeah.
Right. So we were lucky enough to have. I don't even know. It was probably wasn't. It was probably IR technology, infrared light.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sure it was.
RF probably wasn't a thing yet.
I think it had to have been IR because you had to point it directly at the TV.
Yeah.
And if you could get a good bounce off the wall, maybe that would, I don't know if that would even work. I don't even know. But it doesn't matter because it came so far that you end up kind of forgetting about those things, which kind of makes me sad.
Rabbit ears.
The rabbit ears.
And then if they would break, you would use like tinfoil
or a hanger.
Oh, a hanger.
Hangers are good.
Shove the hanger in it. Maybe wrap tinfoil. Oh my God.
Some of this is going to be a little bit foreign to people. We're going back to the old days.
So many people are like, just. Like,
do you remember having the big old antenna on top of the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those were lightning rods, is what those were. That's what those were. My house got struck by lightning one time when I was a kid.
That's bad. Damage? Like needed replaced?
No, but it hit, and then there was like a spark that traveled. See where the wall meets the ceiling? Mm-hmm. It like in that crevice, that corner right there, traveled along around the house.
You can actually see it.
Well, my brother and my dad did, but
wow.
But I heard it. I'll tell you that. Yeesh, that was a big bang.
Yikes.
But all right, let's talk about something. Let's just start with. I want to talk about cameras, video cameras. I want to talk about because you realize like everything today is being filmed because we all have rectangles in our pockets that we can film with.
Yeah. Most people now have a digital camera in their pocket that's like good enough to make movies with.
Yes.
Like I've heard like movies being made with iPhones.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's filming in 4K. I mean, it's filming at a level of clarity that is used to be once upon a time never even entertained we'd ever get to that level, which begs the question, what's next, right? From a quality standpoint. But if I go back to it, I knew at a young age I wanted to like be on camera, or at least I thought I did, and I wanted to like be in TV shows, movies, whatever, maybe on stage. And we had a old VHS recorder.
Oh yeah, the camera. So it was big.
So do with hold it with your hand.
VHS camcorder.
So
you put your
Go
right?
ahead.
You put your hand in the little strap.
Yeah. Keep going. Does it? Yeah.
Oh,
Keep
and you got to
going.
hold it up to your eye because it got a little viewfinder.
So what are you holding in your hand? Tell the audience what you're holding in your hand.
Well, it's got the tape in it. It's got the VHS tape that comes out on a flap that you have to like insert, and then it like pulls the tape. Like it had the VHS tapes are a whole thing on their own, right? You have the little flap and then like the ribbon, right? And it's got to like go in there and like pull it into itself, and then like record onto the ribbon as it's going. A lot of moving
parts. A lot of moving parts in there, right?
Yeah.
What you just explained is way too advanced for what I'm actually referring to. Is that when we
Did you have a crank it?
No.
Like the He's older than I am. Just checking.
I'm not that much older than you. No, what we had was
a big difference happens in 2 years, apparently.
We had a VHS player, okay? And the VHS player had outputs on it that would go to a camera.
Right.
But to power all that was its own separate battery pack. So I would be wearing the VHS player on one side of my body on a sling and the giant battery pack and another sling on the other side of my body, and then holding the camera on top of that, which the camera itself was probably like 15 pounds.
So you basically walk out of the house and it's like, who are you going to call?
Yeah,
Ghostbuster!
I looked like a Ghostbuster.
Big old Ghostbuster.
I had a proton pack. Dude, that is what it felt like, dude. And it was, your stamina had to be there, because if you wanted to do anything for any kind of extended period of time outside with your friends filming, somebody's got to hold all that stuff.
Yeah, and the tapes would only last like 60 minutes.
Something
I mean,
like
you
that.
could go the extended mode, which like I think reduced the quality or something.
Yes, because it would play the tape slower and record it slower.
Yeah.
You'd have to actually play it back on EM or extended modes in order so it not to be all fast or whatever. But yeah, if you went with high quality, then it'd be like a maximum of 60 minutes or whatever, which is actually a pretty long time. But we would, my buddies and I, oh my gosh, those tapes are out there somewhere. We would film ourselves doing the silliest things just all day long because it was fun. But that was, and it also felt like when you were watching it back, it felt like you kind of earned it because it took a lot to make that happen. You know what I mean? God,
Camcorders.
It's another lifetime ago, dude.
Do you after we're done talking about all the different pieces of retro tech, let's do a query to see like how many of these devices we actually still have. I think that'll be fun to quiz each other on that. So just keep track of that in your head.
Okay.
Like every time we mention a device, think, do I
still have that?
Do I have that? And so this are we specifically talking camcorder or also VCR in this case?
In this case, we'll go
the player.
VCR.
People that know
you
what
got to remember
VCR means.
There was also VHS-C, which is when those big players got down to the little, the big
mini
cassette.
tapes, the mini tapes.
Right.
And then you had a little adapter that you could put them in if you
put
wanted.
it, yes. Yes.
I had one of those,
yeah. And when they got into the mini tapes, I'm like, wow, this is the future.
This is the future, man. Look how small these tapes are. It used to be this big, now they're this big. Wow.
Crazy. And if you remember, do you remember? I mean, the quality was just really, really bad.
It's terrible.
It's terrible quality.
Yeah, it's terrible. I know, because my dad like filmed all my basketball games when I was a kid using those, and I tried to put together like a highlight tape towards the end of my basketball career.
I've shown that on this podcast.
It was
before.
the worst quality ever. You've shown that on the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. I don't remember what the topic was. I think we did a topic of competition or something.
Okay.
I don't quite remember, but I had that highlight reel of yours, and it was
so
good.
bad.
It was
So
good.
bad.
It was so good, is what it was.
the quality anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. I remember. So my dad was. That's why I could never beat my dad at arm wrestling, because he was always holding that camera up, you know. So his biceps were just huge.
All right. So are we going to say whether or not we still have it, or we're going to tally at the end or something?
Let's do it at the end. Well,
Okay.
then we got to remember
Yeah.
stuff. All right. Well, let's just do it
So
now.
we're just going to keep score. So
All right. Do you have a VHS cassette? Wait, what did we say?
VHS player?
The camcorder.
A
Yeah. Do you have the
camcorder?
a camcorder?
No.
Not VHS. I don't have VHS.
I don't have VHS. I don't have VHS-C.
I think I have like a mini DV one, so it still has a tape. But this is
the mini DVs.
This is like
okay.
You know,
That was the future.
the last tape.
That was the last tape, dude.
Yeah.
And they were like this, the size.
I think
of
I
a
do have one of those.
Tic Tac box.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I first saw, and I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen? Ricky Fitz in American Beauty. Remember, he had a whole library of those mini DVs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's the actual future.
Yeah. So I have
It's
one of
never
those. I
gonna
don't
get
think
better.
that counts for what we're talking about, though.
Yes, it does.
Does it? Okay. I have a mini DV recorder. I should get that out. See if it still works.
Officially retro. And that is something that has been retro for probably over 10 years.
Why make me feel old?
Because you're old.
Oh.
Okay. We're almost dead.
I'm not even halfway there, bro.
Yeah. So, all right. So you do or don't have one?
I have a mini DV camcorder.
Do you really? Yeah. I definitely don't. I
have one.
Why?
Because I'm a hoarder. Did you say why?
Are you ever going to use it?
I just got inspired to check it out. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I guess maybe to watch or digitize those old tapes or something, which
I did. I went through that process actually. And that's the reason I have it. Because my parents, when they moved out of their last house, they were kind of like, oh, this was in the closet. And they gave me a box full of like all the Christmases and everything that they had ever recorded.
Yeah.
And they're like, can you do something with this to like preserve them or whatever? And I was like, yeah. And I got like a digital converter that I had to plug into the camera. And then I digitized everything. I have them on a hard drive that is also lost.
Oh,
probably.
Okay, I was going to say that was a good idea.
I went through that process. I might have to go through it again.
So here's what's crazy is, if we want to go further back before our time, go back to like 8mm and stuff like that, right? 8mm cameras. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, the millimeters, once upon a time, things used to be filmed with film, right? This is actually like, so people today, I think some people say today film this and they don't know why the word is film. It's because it used to be actual film.
Or tape. I'm gonna tape a show.
And tape was way later than film, right? Like way more advanced.
I love how the word still exists, though.
Yeah, but filming was because there was actual film, and back in the day, the oldest school ones, I believe, was the old school 8mm, really small. Was the width of the tape of the film, and that was like you're talking about, right? Well. My father passed away not too terribly long ago, and I put together something for the service, which was kind of like a picture collage of a video collage of pictures. And then also I worked in some video, and some of the video was from old 8mm from when he was a kid.
Wow.
So I literally got,
we're talking, what year would that be about?
So
if
that
you had
would
to estimate?
be, so he was born in the 40s. It's like 44. So we're talking, this is probably, it was probably early 50s where these were from. Right?
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing to think about it, right? So he was young. He was a young kid in this. And this old school black and white 8mm that my brother managed to digitize. And I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. I don't know how you digitize film. I've done it once, but when I was going to school for this, but that's because I literally took film and filmed it on a wall and then filmed the wall. You know what I mean? What a weird way to do that. So
it's like taking a picture of your monitor.
Exactly, dude. Like exactly. But my brother was able to get a lot of these things and digitize them, which I was very grateful for. So I was able to put together this thing for the service. And it was back and forth, the pictures of, him growing up and then him with the family and blah, blah, blah. But then when it would cut back to these old black and white, and it was the black and white was so vintage black and white. It was that thing to where as you're watching it, you can see the white space in between the frames, just that like there's no sound, but you can almost hear the.
There's like a whole thing. Like people like retro is cool, like people. It has
its own charm.
Yeah, it has its own charm. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this that are like, I collect retro things. This is cool. Yeah. Like our friend Grian was very excited to talk about his TV, his CRT. TV
2K CRT. My brain still is not. I'm not getting.
The fact that the resolution of this CRT
is 2K.
TV is in 2K, which is wasn't even a thing we understood until like maybe 15 years ago or something.
2K.
1080 was.
1080 was all the rave.
It's 1K.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. It's like exactly right.
And that was the standard until not long ago. So yeah,
Scar actually brought up that maybe it was an old radiology CRT, and I'm like, oh, I never even considered that. And meaning like it's mainly it's a CRT monitor that was in some hospital, and they maybe for radiology they needed very high res, and if that is the case, then I have to imagine at one point, and I have no idea, but. That CRT at one point back in the day may have been like $4,000 or something because it was medical grade. I mean, I have no idea. But G has a CRT that's spitting out 2K
that he
That's
prefers
kind of
to
cool.
play games on.
Which I don't understand.
When we were setting up for our, because we
Yeah.
played the Nintendo Switch on stream, and he's wanting to plug it into the CRT. That's how he enjoys his playing Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know, is through the CRT. And so he's like, how do I plug this capture card into my TV? I remember him asking, and I was like, I don't even, like, because when I remember CRTs, they were like pretty much like you had your what AV. Like you had the red, yellow, and
RGB. That's the red,
white
green,
cords.
red, green, blue.
Yeah.
Oh, you're RCA. Now you're talking RCA.
Yeah.
RCA. Well, there were three. It was red, white, and
yellow. The video.
And yellow.
Yeah.
But one of them was audio, and the other two
the
were
red,
audio.
the red
Two
and
were
white was
audio,
right,
one
left
was
audio.
video.
Yeah.
Yellow was video. Red and white was. But if you went RGB, that was five cables, because three were red, green, blue was for the video, and the other two was for the audio. The white, I don't remember now, but it was so long ago. That also felt like the future. But there was also, before all that, just coax.
Coax.
You know what I mean? It was just coax.
Yeah, my first TV that was like my TV, was in my room, was like a 9-inch Emerson, tiny little thing, and it just had the coax jack in the back. I remember that. And there wasn't much you could do. Plug in some ears, and maybe cable TV was coming through at that point. But yeah, so do you have any
Cable
CRTs?
TV? No, I haven't had a CRT in a long time. My last CRT, I can tell you the story of that one. I used to work at Costco, and this was before flat screens were they were just coming out, but TVs were still CRTs. This is earlier in my career, and my father-in-law came in and he said, which of these TVs do you recommend? Because he wanted to get it for his son for Christmas. And I remember thinking, that's amazing. I literally can't even imagine like somebody buying me a TV. You know what I mean? Like and I love my brother-in-law, and he's the coolest. And if anybody deserves it, it's him, because he's so awesome. And I'm like, well, this one's actually pretty sick. And it was a good TV. Even though this brand went down, I don't want to say the brand, but the brand ended up taking a dive after a while. But at the time, this was a really stellar TV. And I'm like, these are really big, they're really heavy, but this is a good picture and whatever. And this was when they started to go flat screen, not thin screen, flat screen. Very different, right?
Yeah, because CRTs always had the curve, because it was a cathode ray light that had to reflect onto them, and to make it like show the image proportionately, the screen had to curve. Yeah. Because it was a projection.
Yeah. So how they got that onto a flat, I don't know, but that's what this was. So I pointed it out. And then that year at Christmas, I was so excited to see my brother's face. And they're like, this is for you. And so he comes out and he unwraps. He's like, this is incredible. And he's just like looking at it, and I'm just smiling, because I'm like, it was kind of fun being part of that process. And then my father-in-law's like, why don't you turn around? And he bought two of them, and he bought me one.
Aww. Oh,
I know.
that's sweet.
I'm gonna cry. Like, it was so long ago, but I was just like,
and you're like, okay, let me go get the forklift so I can take this home,
dude.
Because those things weighed so.
They were so
much.
heavy, dude.
I always wondered why they needed to put lead bricks in them.
I think,
like, were they afraid they were gonna
I'm just gonna say the
blow
brand.
away?
The brand, it was Sony, and I don't know what Sony's up to these days.
Dude, I thought you were gonna say JVC, because mine was a JVC, and it was so heavy.
Sony was the heaviest TV there was, and I actually get to speak to this because I put those up on shelves at Costco. I know what this is, and 98% of the weight was in the front of it.
Yeah.
So it was so awkward to pick up, dude. And they were crazy heavy. But I remember I was just like so blown away. And I don't think I reacted very well, because I thought somebody was pulling a prank or whatever. And my wife's like, Dad, you got to give him some grace here. He's not used to this. Like it was like, he doesn't know what this feels like. You know what I mean? Like that was like such a crazy gift that I was like, what in the world? And I had that TV forever until it went down, which is like over 10 years later, you know? And I remember when I first powered it up, I'm like, this is the biggest TV I've ever owned. And it was probably, dude, if I had to guess, its size was probably like 30 inches. You know?
Yeah, no, I was going to say 27 was pretty normal back then.
27 to 30, and now I'm rocking a 65 and thinking about a bigger one. So it's like, it's just crazy how, and you know what, it's just, and my 65 inch is probably a third to a quarter as heavy as that old school CRT.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how they do it.
It's insane.
And they're getting thinner and thinner, dude. Have you seeing this? Some of these TVs today. Go to Costco and go. I say that because of Yes Man. Go to Costco and look at those some of those TVs. They are. I don't understand.
Well, we got a TV that doubles as a painting.
Yeah.
Like when you turn it off, it goes into a painting mode and it looks like a painting on the wall. So yeah, I know what you mean.
But where's all the thinking? Where's all the brains of it? I don't understand.
Oh, it's in like a separate unit. So you run like a tiny little wire from the back of it and you can like run it through. I ran it through the wall.
It's literally just a
and
monitor.
then in a cabinet, I have like the box, the brain of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like separated.
Is that guy?
That TV right there is the same way. Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so there you go. That's where those went. And so now the question is, what really is next? What just in the worlds of TVs, because I love them so much. So what's next?
Oh, we talked about the future, like what's next in a podcast a while back, didn't we?
Did we?
I don't think we were going there today. We wanted to focus on the what things used to be.
That's true. But I'd like to think about what's next.
I know. It's gonna be holograms and stuff.
Let me ask you this, homie. You ever play with cassette players?
Oh, dude. Yes. Oh my gosh. I made so much money in 6th grade. Dude, I was a mixtape master. Okay. First of all, my parents, I think, got me for Christmas. It was a CD player and then it had double cassette. So CD and then double cassette. Right.
Oh yeah.
So I did one of those Columbia House deals, where I got like 8 million CDs for 1 penny. And then I had to buy a CD every week for the rest of my life for double the retail price.
Yeah.
I did one of those deals. So I had like
for the rest of my life.
So I had like all the CDs that like were current and whatever. And then I would take the best song from each CD and I would make a mixtape, and then I would take the mixtape, and because it was a double cassette, I would take that mixtape and I would record it onto another blank tape, side A, side B. Remember, I had to flip them over.
Yep.
And so I would make those, and then I'd write all the songs on the little sleeve that's in them, and then I'd go to school, and I'd be like, "Who wants to buy this mixtape? It has all these cool songs." And I'm gonna get arrested for this, aren't I?
God, you were just zero moral compass. You just right away just stealing art.
I was in 6th grade. I didn't know that was illegal. Nobody did. It was new. Yeah. So anyway, I sold some mixtapes. I like $2 a piece or something like that, because I think the blank copies were like 1, and I was just trying to earn a little bit.
Yeah.
So I sold a bunch of mixtapes back in my day. So yeah, I know all about this cassette tapes. They're great.
That's amazing.
Now cassette tapes, you got to have some laying around. You don't throw those away, right?
I don't think I have any left. I honestly
you don't have a single cassette tape.
I don't think so. I
have a cassette tape in this room. And it's of your band.
Okay, I do have one, my band, and because that one is still shrink wrapped, and that's the old school. Wow, geez, I forgot. That actually is an old box of mine, but there are some cassette tapes I wish I still had, because I wouldn't even know how to listen to them. I do have a cassette player.
I do.
Player? Do you?
I recently bought, like a couple years ago, I bought a cassette to digital, so it's a cassette player that you can plug USB into your computer, specifically to record your band's tape digitally, so that it's preserved.
Oh,
so yeah, I do. You can borrow it from me if you want to get your.
That's okay. That's fine.
I think that counts still, right? Because it does play cassette tapes, even though it's like newer.
That's a good point, Newman.
I don't think I have any
it's a half a point.
Old school cassette players.
I think it's a half a point.
Okay, half a point.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
But my cousin and I, you ready for this, dude? Okay. This is a form of I would argue that this is a form of art that's not lost, but is unique. And my cousin, who, when we were younger, we were very close. We lived in different states, but he was literally like my favorite person in the world. And anytime that he would come out to visit, I couldn't wait to see him. And he's just like 2 years older than me, 4 years. I don't know, who cares? But we were very close, and we would we would record a lot of our conversations on cassette tape. We didn't do skits or anything. We literally just recorded us hanging out, just audio only. And it was something I liked to listen to when he would go back to California. And it was like way to hang out with him again. I know it sounds weird, and he would do the same, and he would take a tape, I'd take a tape. Well, he would do things where the family used to go on these camping trips that my mom would never let me go on, and she wouldn't go on, and nobody in my family was going. But she didn't want me to go because there were some things happening in these camping trips. Like she just didn't want to. I know what it was. She didn't want me as a young kid watching my uncles and aunts like get drunk and stuff. Right? Fine, I understand. I understand now. I hated it then because he got to go. My other cousin got to go. Everybody was going. I never got to go, and I always wanted to go, but I wasn't able to. So he would record a lot of it so I could listen to it later, and it was really cool. And I remember picking up on conversations that I don't think that they knew they were being recorded. And they were and they would say like, it would be nice if he was here and stuff like that. And it was funny. And I got to listen to when there was a big old storm happening and they had to pack up and get out of there because the storm was so bad. And I got to just kind of, you close your eyes and just listen, and your mind just starts painting a visual of what you're experiencing, you know, or in that moment, or what they were experiencing, or what I was experiencing when I was part of the recordings. And cassette tapes they just brought something. I can't even explain it, dude. I can't explain it. It just was so nostalgic, you know? And I have some funny moments. Let me tell you something. I got to think about this. Okay. I'm going to say this and then I'll bleep it out, but this is me as a kid. Okay. I'm kind of embarrassed. I must've been like 10 or 11 or something, and maybe 12. And him and I were recording ourselves on a cassette tape inside the car. We were in the car by ourselves because my brother and my brother's friend had gotten out of the car to go like drop something off, and they were coming back or something to that effect. And I said, and I was trying to rewind one of these cassette tapes that had music on it. It was an album on the car. In this particular car, its cassette player had the fastest fast forward and rewind you can imagine, dude. So when you would rewind these, it was typically like, this rewind was like crazy fast. So if you wanted to if you're at the end of a song and you wanted to get to the middle of the song, good luck. Because you didn't rewind for a quarter second and go back like 3 songs. It was so fast, dude. And I couldn't, and I just
how did the tape stand that? I would think, you just imagine the tape just like shredding in the player.
Yes, dude. And so I'm like trying to go back and forth and you hear my high pitched voice, you know, and I'm all, come on. And he's just recording me, and you go to click and it play the song and it goes back, and I'm all, can I just find the stupid beginning? And then just as my brother's coming into the car and I didn't notice, I'm all, God, I hate this fucking thing. And my brother's like, hey, back, come on, knock it off. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I was just
10-year-old potty mouth.
Oh, jeez. It was ridiculous. It was like, it was so rare, but I was so mad at that time because my brother would never let me listen to my music, so I wanted to listen to it while he wasn't in the car, but I couldn't get it to the beginning.
No wonder your music had bad words in it. Where did you learn it from?
I don't think it
You know? I was listening to Crisscross, dude. Like, they were PG, I think. The worst thing that happened to them was they missed the bus. You know?
Get out of here. So, no, I do have a cassette tape. I have my old band still in the shrink wrap. I don't think I have any of those cassettes from me and my cousin. I know for a fact I don't have any cassette players at all.
Yeah, man.
How did we leapfrog the cassette tape? Did you ever have an 8-track?
No, my parents did.
We had one in the Volkswagen.
My parents did. Oh, I don't even know if they did in the car. I think I remember it like in the house. I don't remember a car 8-track.
Oh, we had an 8-track in the house too. You want to talk about furniture? This thing was the size of a couch. Huge system, huge. Wood, giant speakers.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Where the speakers are built in.
And then you open up. It would look like you could put stuff. It was like a table, but you open up the table. Vinyl player, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say the top swings up. And then that's where the record goes.
Yep. Record, 8-track.
Nice.
All these switches and stuff, dude.
See, that's cool, man.
It is.
That's cool. I would like to have one, not for the functionality, but just because
super vintage.
Yeah, that vintage vibe is pretty sweet.
It is cool. I'm on board now. I want one. I think one of my brothers might have that actually. But yeah, old school vinyls. We didn't just leapfrog over 8-tracks. We leapfrog over vinyls.
Oh man, and vinyls would have been before, right?
Before 8-track.
Yeah,
that was like the original.
That was like the first way they listened to music. That recorded music, right? Was there something before vinyls?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so. In regards to actually recording something and playing it back.
Having something recorded and played back.
I could be wrong here.
I mean, if we're not talking about those pianos with the little spikes that on the roller.
No. We're talking about like voice and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I don't know. And I think if I'm not mistaken, in Saving Private Ryan, which it's World War II, so the setting is in the 40s. There's a scene. It's right before the Germans come into that town that they're trying to hold down. It's like a really crazy battle. Tom Hanks is having a conversation with Matt Damon, and it's a very, very special conversation about his wife in the garden. And there's music playing. And Upham is the translator, and he's translating the German into English so that they understand what this artist is saying. I think that was a vinyl. Right, it had to have been. How else are they playing it? Like they found a player and they were like just put on whatever album was there. I think so. They had so I think vinyl was the original.
Okay,
I think it was.
All right. Well, with that being said, like I know that you know these vintage things, these retro things are kind of like making a comeback, and like I think even like the kids of today like are aware of vinyls and some of them even like collect them and listen to them and stuff. Like it's made that big of a comeback, and so like, but I remember my parents having like a huge collection of vinyls to where we would go and you know, every like Friday night when we wanted to just hang out and just listen to music together in the living room instead of watching TV, we would go and each one of us would like pick out a vinyl and like, I want to listen to, you know, I don't even remember Richie Valens or something. I don't even remember their names, like Beach Boys and stuff like that. Beach Boys was big in my house. And we'd have the vinyls that we would go through. My sister was like getting into like the hair bands because she's older than me, you know? And so we had like Guns N' Roses and Poison and stuff like that. We had vinyls of them. And I remember like always flipping through and it was like so much fun flipping through the vinyls and like seeing the album covers and then you flip it over and it's got the tracks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like those were really cool.
I actually brought some visual aids here because I was never a vinyl collector, but I've never been secretive that my favorite band in the world is Tool.
Really?
Yeah, shut up. And this is Opiate, and I'm actually going to show this camera. This is Opiate right here. Make sure there's no glare. Oh, and this is their very first album. Now, for the diehard Tool fans, I'm aware this is not their actual first album. They had an LP before this. We don't need to get into those details, but their first actual official album, if you will, is this one. And it's Opiate, right? So a buddy of mine gave this to me about probably 18 years ago, just gave this to me. And I told him he should keep it. And he's like, no, it's fine. He used to be in a record shop. And so I've had this for a while and I like it. I've never listened to it.
I was going to say, that's crazy. The actual art is on the actual, you don't usually see that. You see it a little bit on the inner part. That's not the playable part, but this actually has art on the playable part, which is insane. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I think it's, very, very cool. I've never actually played it. I would like to. But then not long ago, like literally last week, my wife and my daughter were on that road trip across the nation to bring my daughter back to New York. And they were in Joe Hill's neck of the woods, Nashville, Tennessee. And they bought me this. Again, I'm going to show this camera. This is Undertow. This is the original vinyl for Undertow, but it's been cut into art. So this is not like a white spot of the record. There's nothing here. This record is obviously not playable anymore. And this here,
I think it's going to skip like crazy.
This is a very famous silhouette of Maynard in a pose he was doing on stage one time. He's got a mohawk. It's a very famous picture of him. So that is a silhouette cut out on this. Super cool. It is super cool, dude. Like this is the greatest band in the world, dude. In the world. It just is. My mind can't be changed on that. But so now I have this. So now I officially want every.
There you go. Yeah. Start collecting some vintage vinyls.
Yeah.
Maybe pop into a Zia Records.
Go get some.
You remember Zia?
Yeah.
That place was great, man.
Yeah.
I love going in there. I want to do that again. I don't think I've been in one of those kind of stores in decades.
You know, the problem is, and there's no problem here really per se, but like those stores were a lot of fun to go into and look at the newest albums, go in there and like you're looking for your artists that you want. But we're going to fast forward to it being CDs. And it was fun to go see if they had, I remember the very first day when 10,000 Days came out, which was 2 albums ago for Tool. When that came out, that was like 20 years ago or whatever it was. Dude, when I went into the store to get it, it was there and I was able to put my hands around it. I was so thrilled. That was a level of joy that you don't get to experience anymore.
Now you don't even need to most people now just stream everything, right?
Everything.
So like Spotify, and you can literally listen to like almost anything on Spotify without even thinking about it. And it used to be a chore.
It used to be a chore, but it was the apple tree thing, right? Like the further you have to chase the apple, the better it tastes type thing, right? So that we went from the apple falling out of the tree and rolling and rolling and rolling. We have to chase it down the mountain and over the rocks, and maybe it got a little waterlogged in the river, clean it off if you're able to get your hands on it and fight this animal off for it. It's my apple. And it was so good. Yeah. And now the apples just fall right into our mouths. Yeah. And so there's like something that has arguably been lost in that journey that I feel, because that was a sense of joy that I think a lot that is lost today, a little lost today.
Oh, it was always like a fun thing to do. Like even going into Walmart, and I would like just go in the summer, you're looking for things to do, and like just going through Walmart and perusing the store was always fun. It was always the posters and the CDs section that you'd spend the most time in. Popping through the CDs. Now, Walmart back in my day, like for some reason they didn't have any like parental advisory. They wouldn't allow any CDs that had parental advisory. They had to get like the radio cut versions of everything. Yeah. And I remember like, when I was a kid, like, oh, I want Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? But I didn't want the PG version of Dr. Dre. So I was like, that was always off-putting to go to Walmart and be like, oh, they got it, but it's the PG version. I don't want this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you ever try to listen to old school NWA PG version? It's basically just
I don't even know how they managed that.
It's just a constant beep. And it's like, it's impossible, right? And you know how much, like, I think Eminem is one of the greatest rappers ever. And some of his songs, a lot of his songs are heavy with cussing, but sometimes it's like so much. It's like, this literally has not a surviving chance on radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of his songs he ended up redoing just for radio cuts, because it was like
change the words out and stuff. Man. Whatever. So yeah, vinyl has kind of come back. I noticed, like I see kids talking about it. You know what else came back? Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Polaroid
cameras have made a comeback. My daughter asked for one for her birthday a couple years ago, and I was like, why would you want that? You have the best camera, one of the best cameras in your pocket. You know what I mean? Why would you want to carry this device where you have to load it with these blanks and it spits it out? Because there's something to that. Like,
but I think I can answer what it is. I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours first.
No, go for it.
There is something, a paper picture carries a lot more gravity than a digital readout on your phone that you can swipe away from, right? And so a physical paper picture there's something more eternal about it, I think. I have thousands upon thousands of pictures on my phone that I never look at. But my daughter has a Polaroid, and her roommates did, and they would take pictures of when they're hanging out, in their dorm or whatever, and those pictures go right up on the wall, right up on the fridge.
And you can write stuff on that little white space.
You can write on that open space at the bottom. Yeah. But the fact that you're able to capture something and then have something physically tangible for that is, I think there's value there that cell phones can't offer. And so she has these pictures, and is the quality as good? No, of course not. But she has these Polaroids like all over her mirror and stuff like that. That's very, very special.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's it. You nailed it. I think there's just something very tangible. It's tangible. You're literally touching it.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, I mean, with the phones and stuff, I mean, every time you get a new phone, you're like, I'm at risk of losing every picture I've ever taken if you don't like properly back it up and stuff.
To the cloud.
You know what I mean?
And
even then, I'm like, okay, well now I have like probably 20 copies of all these pictures, and I don't, you know what I mean? It's a mess. I backed it up everywhere.
Exactly. They're backed up everywhere, and I don't even know where to find them.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I do go to find them, it's like, it's like a junk drawer. Like I have no idea where it's at. Yeah, unfortunately, like back in the day, taking pictures used to be a very meticulous thing that we.
Yeah, it was like a hobby, right? You get those photo albums where it's got the piece of lamination or whatever that you peel back because it's like sticky, and then you put the photos in there, and you would have sections, and it was like it's kind of like a whole thing. Yeah. It's kind of like what collages and stuff people do. It was kind of like that, but with photos.
It's a photo album, and you just did page by page, and it was so special. And you would all crowd around and like, look at this, you know what I mean? And you would, I remember I missed that dog, like stuff like that. There was something like the digital age is, and I'm not knocking it at all. I love the digital age. I really, I love it, but it has robbed us of some things, and some things that the younger generation won't get to experience. And same thing happened to you and I. Our parents got to, your parents, my parents, they got to experience things that you and I never got to experience. And it's ignorance is bliss. We just don't know what it was. Mm-hmm. But there was something. Think about this. Imagine the very first Polaroid camera. That in itself was the future. Because back in the day, those picture cameras, that was film. And so they would go, and then be like, okay, I have no idea what that looked like. Well, we'll find out in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So like you'd have to take your film to a professional who would take the film out of the box in a dark room. They would actually have to put their hands into a box to where they had 0 light leaks, and they would have to bring the film out and do all the stuff with it so they could develop the film and then finally get pictures out of it, right? And then one day the Polaroid was made, and they would take a picture and it would come out instantly. And which doesn't make any sense. That's not real, because I'm not supposed to see what that picture looks like for another 3 weeks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? No, I got it right here. Well, it's blank. I got to shake it. You know what I mean? Which to this day, I have no idea if that has any effect on the Polaroid. Yeah.
But it's
I have
fun.
No idea. It's fun to shake it.
Yeah.
You shake it. You feel like you get something.
Made a lyric out of it.
Yeah. Then you watch it just come to life right there in front of you.
That's cool.
Man.
See, and it's making a comeback, man. Like people are into it again.
How is it doing it? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, dude. It's like, you got to think about it. How in the world was it doing it? That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still to this day.
Well, is anything else making a comeback these days?
All right, let's see.
That we can think of.
CRT monitors.
I was thinking, like flip phone, because now they have like you can fold the glass.
Yeah.
So you kind of have flip phones coming back, but not really.
Not really.
It's just like taking an iPhone and folding it in half. Have you seen that? Yeah. They're coming out with that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I think I would want that. I don't know.
I would only want it if the end state of it while it's open is the same exact quality of a current day iPhone.
Yeah.
And I mean exact. If I see a smidge of a crease in the center, or if the touch feels like soft or something that I don't like, I'm too stuck in my ways. I love the technology of just a typical iPhone. Mm-hmm. And I've seen those phones before, and they are neat, but I feel like likely they're never going to be able to match what a physical hard iPhone is.
And they're still smartphones. Like, do you remember having a flip phone? Like an actual flip phone? That was the coolest thing.
They were.
And did it have an antenna that you'd like pull?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. It did.
It was always so cool because you could like hold it and like, I think I used to like use my pinky to flip because it just had like a little plastic barrier thing that would flip down. Yeah. I'd use my pinky like
boop. Yep. What's up? This is Neo from the Matrix.
One hand flip phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had that, dude. I think I got a cell phone, a flip phone pretty early, like for most people around my age. I got it in high school, which was pretty young. I know now kids are like getting smartphones when they're 10 or whatever. That's a whole nother subject, whether that's good or bad. But like, I think it was literally just because I at least when I turned 16, I had my license and I could go places, and that made my parents worried, and for good reason. 16-year-old driving around, wherever, it's nice to be able to be like, yo, where are you? What are you doing? When are you going to be home? All that kind of stuff at any given point in time. And so they allowed me, and they got me a flip phone. And it was like, it changed my life. Yeah. Because before being able to connect like that, we had to like find payphones anytime we needed to communicate with our parents or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to memorize phone numbers in our brains. And then like, oh, I got to call them at work. Do you have a quarter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I want to, let me ask my mom if I can go to the movies. You know, is there a payphone around here? It was the worst.
A payphone,
you know?
for anybody who doesn't know, is literally a public phone that is, they're massive. They're really, really, they're big. They're like big things. And they used to have phone booths so you have a little bit of privacy. And I even as a kid, when I would use one, I just like, and I'm not a germaphobe, but I could just feel like the thousands of ears that touched this before me. Like I just was like, I would like hold it away from my head and stuff, you know what I mean? And but it was like you said, 20, like cause I used to be in a bowling league. It was just, okay, bowling's over, you're 25 cents, call. And the best part, and we'll get into that, when you call home, nobody picks up. And there's an answer machine.
Oh, the answer machine.
Somebody pick up, please. Hello.
The answer machine that most likely had a tape
that's
that recorded your message.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, you're bringing back memories, dude.
Did you have a rotary phone in your house? You know, where you had to put your finger in and like I bet you anything. If we went out in public and we asked anyone that looked of teenage age or lower, and I'm going all the way up to 19, bro.
Yeah.
If we had a rotary phone and we said, here's a phone number, call it, I bet you 9 out of 10 of them couldn't do it.
There's a video out there of a dad, and it's either his 2 sons or his son and the son's friend. And he says something like, I got $100 bill here for you guys. You have 5 minutes to make my cell phone ring with this phone, and gives him a rotary phone. And it is one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. Cause these kids, I got to tell you, there were so many things happening in my mind, like, duh, just what, how can this be hard? Well, if you've never seen it before, then you don't know. Not to mention their minds have been conditioned to adapt to a much different level of interface, which is just touch. The touching wasn't a thing back then. You had to move things, right? And so they were like, they were looking at this rotary phone. And at this time, if you don't know what a rotary phone is, I'm hoping you're looking at pictures of it, or maybe I've splashed one. They were looking at these numbers and they were pushing the numbers inside the circles, like literally like pushing them. They didn't even know it spun, and they're like pushing. And then one of them like bumped it and like moved. They're like, this whole thing moves. And then like they did this, like, look, it moves. And so they were like just making it move, and they would do this and it would go all the way back. And then one of them like put if the number was like, you know, let's say it was like 578 was the first 3 numbers. They were putting their finger in the 5 and they were just like flicking it. They weren't even going all the way. They're going like that. And they're like 5, 7, 8. And they thought that they were like the touch did something, and the flick of the rotary meant like accept whatever the something was.
Oh, okay.
And nothing was happening. Nothing until at one point, I think one of them realized, I think maybe you go all the way. And they were like this, but here's the best part. Once they figured it out, still couldn't pull it off because they didn't take the handle off the cradle, dude. Like it was the best thing ever, dude. They're like, we think we got it. And like they did it. They like look at him and he's just cracking up laughing,
That's
dude.
awesome.
They just could not. And I don't remember if he gave him a hint or if they ever, I don't remember if it was a long time ago, but it was so much fun to watch them go through that journey, because that's technology that was as archaic as it comes to us. And before rotary phones, people had to call an operator.
Oh yeah, they did a little switching. My grandma did that. She worked in one of those places.
Did she?
And she did that where they'd like take the cable and they're like going to connect you here, and they literally pull a cable out and they put it in a different spot to connect the phone.
Unbelievable, dude.
That's insane, dude.
And they would, because they would pick it, and they had to hold it like this. They had a speaker they'd hold like this and a thing like this, and be like, I'm trying to call Rupert Smith, please. And then that's
how they talked back then.
That's how they talked back then. Yeah. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. And then like you said, they would do the things, which, what does that mean? There were like 9 people in the town. I still don't understand how that worked, but that's how they patched people through. Here's your call. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious.
So yeah. So you had a landline as a kid, right? Because cell phones weren't really a thing when we were young. I don't know when cell phones actually came out. I might have been young when they came out, but it would have been those huge bricks like Zach Morris had, or the people had it in their car, the big old brick phone. But like we had a landline in the house.
They're $8 a minute.
Dude, yeah. We had a landline in the house, and I remember did you have one in your room? Like a phone in your room?
I think so. I feel like I did, because I shared a room with my brother. And I
think I had a phone in my room, if I remember right. But I remember it was connected to the wall, the outlet in the wall.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of across the room from where my bed was. And that's, I would, if I was on the phone, that meant I was going to be talking for a bit. I want to be comfortable. I'd be laying on my bed. So I had one of those phones that had like a 20-foot
cable
cord.
Yeah.
But it was
the spiral
ones.
Yeah.
And it would get tangled all the time. It was the worst.
Those were the most, okay. Think of a knot that's hard to untangle. Now make the when the knot is not a knot, it's still a coil.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. It was 20 feet. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because it got to a point where I was like, just forget it.
Yep.
Like,
oh, dude, eventually you're just like, let it be tangled. It's fine. So now I got a 10-foot cord with multiple knots in it, basically. So I had one of those, and it was the worst because you would be on the phone and you would be, chatting away with maybe your crush or whatever. And, oh, baby, you got such amazing, Mom, get off the phone.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Like your parents would pick up the phone to call like you'd be trying to smoosh, like compliment your girl or whatever.
That got interrupted. That guy.
And then you just hear this like beep, beep, beep. And that's your parents picking up the phone, not first checking to see if it's being used and then starting to dial who they want to call. Yeah. And you're like, I'm on the phone.
Because there was one line. Unless you were like rich and you had two lines, you know. I remember that, yeah. Or if you were clever enough, you could grab the receiver. If you had siblings on the phone, you could grab this receiver and go, like Indiana Jones when he did the swap. You do this and you'd go, and so you would hang it up with your finger and go like this and just very quietly, and then you can listen. You can listen in on their calls. Their calls were really boring. I didn't do it.
I was gonna say, did you record them with a tape recorder?
No.
Hold on. Tape recorder. Man, I don't miss those. I don't miss those days.
No.
Like there are some like the cool retro things that are making a comeback. I don't think we're going to see the return of landlines anytime soon.
We're not going to. And I remember when I ditched the landline for the first time, which was
it felt so wrong.
It felt like I was going backwards in technology because I'm like, I've always had a landline, always. But I'm like, but then one day I said to my wife, I'm like, I don't understand. There's no point. There's 0 point. We have cell phones. And she's like, yeah, but what if something happens to our cell phones? I'm all, we'll figure it out. Like, we don't need a landline. We're not doing it. So we cut it out. I've never missed it for a second.
Cutting the cord just felt so wrong.
It did. It felt weird to not have a landline.
I was like, oh no, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same worry was there. That's insane.
However, you know what I do wish I had was something that you could call, and it was not really a landline, but almost it would almost act like a landline. It'd be like make a noise in your house so that when I'm calling somebody's cell phone and they're not picking up because it's in the other room, I could be like, call that thing. Like, okay, he's trying to get a hold of me. You
just need to get what are they, like there's a lot of the home automation stuff, like the little pods, like the Amazon like devices. What are they called? Echoes? Or
the Echoes. Or Alexa.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have?
Don't worry, I muted that before we started the podcast. So
Alexa.
It's not going to go off right now. See?
Hey, Alexa.
I'm thinking. Good call. You just set off everybody else's though. So
hey, Alexa.
You need to apologize.
Order dog food.
Oh no.
Alexa, order paper towels. Let's see if
this one's on you. All the hate, all the hate comments can go to you on that. But dude, get one of those because I remember, dude, as a kid, I wanted a full house of intercom system. Like that, I would see like the rich people in movies and stuff. They had these intercom systems to where they could go and like click on a button and talk to any room in the house. And I wanted one of those so bad. I don't know why. I always wanted next house I get, we're having an intercom system. But now you can do that. You can get the little Amazon Alexas and like they have a whole intercom ability to where it's like, call so-and-so's room and it'll pop in or whatever. And they can talk to you and hey, it's time for dinner, or like tell the whole house like it's dinner time. And then it goes off in every single room. Yep. So it's like they brought back the intercom just in a new age way.
We had the intercom in one house I lived in for a bit there, and it was built into the house, physically built in.
That's so cool.
It almost never worked, but it was such a cool. It was never worked, but it was neat when it kind of worked.
Yeah,
You know
what else I thought was neat when I was a kid? Dick Tracy. Do you remember Dick Tracy?
I do. He had
a watch that he could like talk to people on and stuff.
Yeah,
check it out. I have it now.
I know. You know who else had that watch? Knight Rider,
dude.
And he would talk to Kit.
Dude, we're basically Knight Rider.
We are Knight Rider.
Yeah.
We are David.
We have
Hasselhoff.
it now.
We've been Hasselhoff. I'm telling, dude. Well, our cars don't talk. That car was like sentient. Like,
Your car can talk. You just have to install Amazon Echo in it.
Yeah, I know, but my car doesn't know how I'm feeling. And that dude, Knight Rider Kit, knew he was sentient. Like that's.
Do you really want your car to be sentient?
No. I mean, I want the option for it to be sentient. I wouldn't mind my car saying I missed you or how was your day.
Only if it was nice.
Only if it
like
really
it can never be mean to me. You know,
I would want it to be mean to me. I want it to keep me honest. Yeah. Like when I sit down, the car's all, ugh.
You sit down.
I sit down.
Gained a little weight, have you?
Why don't you hit the gym, buddy?
Maybe that would be. I don't know. I don't know if that would particularly motivate me, but oh man. Dude, there's a lot of things I missed. Like speaking about being in a car and like, I don't think I ever had one of those car phones that were like physically attached to my car. I don't think I ever had one. My dad did. I remember my dad did. My dad was super proud when he had
was it a
one of the
car?
first. Yeah, it was a convertible.
Yeah.
You know, he might have been going through a midlife crisis. Dad, if you're watching, you can let me know. But he had one, and I remember he's like, check out this new car I got, you know, convertible, and it's got the phone, and it had a cord. It wasn't wireless. It was attached to the car.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, okay. That's cool.
That is cool, actually.
But then, you know, you take it and you drive to the bank, you know, you got to make a deposit, and you put it in one of those capsules, and you put it in the tube, and it goes, and it sucks it up into the bank.
Yeah.
They don't have those anymore, do they? What are they called? Pneumatic tubes?
The pneumatic tubes.
Yeah.
And I used to work at Costco, and we had those, and it was at every other register or every third register or something like that. And essentially, just to better explain just to make sure everybody knows what you're talking about, quite literally think of a tube in your hand, a capsule that you can put valuables in and seal it. And then there was a big tube in the air that this little tube would fit into, and it was pneumatic. And so it was a vacuum would grab it and pull it up into the thing. And so at Costco, once upon a time, so when the registers would start to get a bit full, you don't want all that money just sticking around. You know what I mean? So, and especially on busy days, those registers would fill up fast, and it would be full of checks and cash. And so they would take these tubes, they would shove all the money from the register in there, and they would clamp it shut. And then they would put it in the tube. There'd be a little opening, and there was a constant vacuum. But people don't realize that those tubes are always running 100% of the time. And you just can't tell because the opening to put the tube in is so big that you don't feel any sort of atmospheric change. But when you put it in there, there's a flap on the top that creates a seal, and you can feel the pull of it. So they would do this, and they would let go, you know, and those tubes and it was kind of cool because they were quick, just, and they would fly through the rafters and everything and get to the vault in the back. Well, those tubes are pretty little. So you're not really at risk of, like, you know, if I tried to put my arm in it, I don't think it might, but it'd be a really tight fit. Well, I had a buddy of mine who was a comedian and became a stand-up comedian in LA. We used to work at Costco together, and he was very, very thin. And he would, for fun, he would be like, yeah, I got that. He would go to stick it in there, and he would go, whoa, and he would fake it, and he would put his entire arm in there up to his shoulder, and he would flail and be like, it's got me. And it was the best thing in the world, dude. And the kids would just be cracking up. He always did it for little kids. He'd be like, yeah, I got this. Dude, it was so funny. God, these are like the jokes that we're never going to be able to do anymore. Like, that was so funny, dude.
Dude, I always thought, like, they should take that system and build them underground into everyone's house, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, connect it to, let's say, an Amazon distribution center or whatever. So then you could order something on Amazon, and they just put it in the tube, and it just shows up. I mean, Amazon's already pretty darn quick, but imagine how much, how many vehicles we get off the road and stuff like that. If they could just throw that in a tube that goes straight to your house. And then our bodies. You know, let's put ourselves in like human capsules and have them vacuum sucked to wherever we need to go. You know what I mean? It's just a big underground labyrinth of pneumatic tubes constantly running for us to go in.
And it's interesting. I think drones are kind of like Amazon's got drones now, don't they? They're delivering by drone, I think.
Are they now?
Certain places,
I know they've been working on it for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of...
I'm going to order a CRT TV.
Oh, exactly.
The drone can deliver it. There's like 100 drones with like.
It's just a helicopter at that point. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I miss. There's a lot I miss about the whole retro, and maybe I do want to start collecting vinyls or
That would be cool.
whatever.
Yeah. I started collecting retro consoles. I have like a shelf, this in my studio.
You're stacking Nintendo.
Yeah, I have the old Nintendo systems from NES to Super to 64. I have GameCube, and then I want to get a Game Boy though. Like when Game Boy came out, that was
the old school Game Boy.
Yeah, like the original Game Boy that like Pat had Tetris. I watched something on maybe Netflix or somewhere. It was like the story of how Tetris came to be, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was the most interesting and crazy story I'd ever seen of how Tetris made it to Nintendo, how they got the rights to Tetris and to put on the Game Boy and stuff.
Have to see. Yeah, this is twice I've heard you say that.
It's insane. The story of how Tetris came to be is insane. I think it's just called Tetris, maybe. I can't remember the name of it's like a doc. It's not a documentary. It's actually like they've acted it out. Like it reenacted.
So it's like
story.
Dope Sick.
Yeah.
It's like, did you ever watch Dope Sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Dope Sick, where it's like they acted it out, but it's
what happened.
A true story. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It made me miss the Game Boy. I was like, oh man, I remember having a Game Boy as a kid. I don't have one now. I'd love to get a Game Boy again.
Those Game Boys, those first Game Boys, those were black and white, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. God, I do remember those, dude.
They were like bricks,
Yeah, they were big. I don't remember.
But having a portable gaming console was huge. It was innovation.
It was a parent's dream for especially long trips and stuff.
Yeah.
Your kid just back there with their game,
Yeah.
Do you remember Palm Pilots?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was like the first like smartphone in a way.
If you will.
Not quite. They weren't phones even.
But touch was involved?
Were they?
But you had to have a stylus?
No, they were just like, weren't they more for like scheduling? And
yes, yeah. It wasn't like a fun thing.
Like I don't need a Rolodex anymore because I can put all my contact information in my Palm Pilot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. And I remember I bought a Palm Pilot. It was $500, which was
back then crazy.
$1 million back then. And I got it because I was how old was I? I was still working at Costco. And I don't remember what I got it because life was getting kind of busy or whatever, but I had seen one of my brother's friends had a Palm Pilot and he had that stylus and he was doing the thing. And it was smart enough to where if you drew like an A, it would translate it to a printed out A like that, which I thought was just incredible. And so I'm like, I know I want this. I want one of these devices. And I got one, dude, and I liked it. And I was keeping my schedule on there. I was enjoying the fact that I really convinced myself my life had taken a step into the more mature, right? Whatever.
Did you have it on your belt? Like where you put it in the
I
little,
don't think I put it in
pocket
the clip.
thing on
I don't think I did that.
Okay, that would have been hilarious.
Well, I wish I did because
right next to
I
your
had
beeper.
it like maybe 2 weeks before I lost it.
No.
Yeah, and I didn't lose it. I know exactly what happened too. I was moving out of my apartment into my first house and I left it on top of the car.
2 weeks?
It was like 2 weeks later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
That was. Now I'll be honest with you, that technology was obsolete with like 6 months later because that's how fast all that was moving. But it was still one of those. My brother, oh my gosh, my brother was so like.
Blackberries. That was the big one.
Right? Is that what they're called? No.
That was the one that got super popular. I know they had the compacts, HP compacts.
Was it called a Blackberry?
I think you had the compact, if I remember right.
Compact! I had the compact.
Yeah,
no, the Palm Pilot was what I had seen. I ended up buying the compact, which was the same thing, but it was actually a better technology at the time.
Yeah, but I think Blackberries also existed, but I think that's when they started to incorporate cell phone stuff into them, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it called a Blackberry? That sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, you had a compact.
I know I did,
but that Blackberries were big. They were like the business world. You get your emails and stuff on it. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy?
That was a big deal.
My first day when I got hired at Intel a million years ago, which is literally over 20 years ago now. Jeez. They're like, okay, well, here's your laptop. And I'm like, ooh, that's neat. I'm getting a laptop. Here's your pager. I'm like, what do I need a pager for?
Pager.
Like I was just like, and a
pager. Back then, pagers were only for drug dealers.
Yeah, drug dealers. And that was, The pager was, and it was like a really fancy one too. It had the full QWERTY on it and the whole thing, you know, and I remember those, and there was such an overkill. And then those were done like not like a year later. We didn't need pagers anymore. Yeah. But I remember thinking that it was just so bizarre that I was being given a pager. And also, and do you remember your first pager? Your very first one?
No.
I do.
Well, you remember yours.
Yeah. My brother got it for me.
Okay. What for? Because this has been before you had a cell phone, right?
Way before.
Because that's how you told someone I need to talk to you, so that a number just shows up.
Just a number.
If people don't know what a pager is, it's a little box, you know, that had a little LCD screen on the top that was like whatever bit, where you could just see numbers, basically.
Numbers only.
Numbers only, because you'd have to do like, if you wanted to do a word, you could do like leet speak, you know, where it's like a 7 is an L and you type upside down. 7, 3, 3, whatever, you know what I mean? And so you would page somebody. You would just basically call the pager and put in your number or whatever, and then just a number would show up on the screen, and then you're like, oh, this person's trying to get a hold of me. I got to call him back. Is there a payphone around here?
Yeah,
around here, and then you go to the payphone and then you dial the number.
Pull over. Yeah, I remember that too. I got a page. Pull the car over. I got to find a payphone. You know what I mean? Like what? And like all of it before the pager, whatever. Nothing was that urgent. And then you would find a payphone. You'd go, you paged me? Like, yeah. What's going on? You're like, what? So then they started doing, if it was the number plus 911,
that was
call me
important.
right away.
Yeah.
It was I remember the first time my pager, because you could set it to beeping or some when it got more advanced, some songs or vibrate. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time I was in a car with my new pager on, I had it set to vibrate. And when that thing started vibrating, I flipped out. Not because I thought it was cool, because I thought there was a bee in the car. I thought there was a bee on my bottom. And I'm like, I start doing that, you know, and they're like, what's your problem? I'm like, oh, it's my pager. And they just lost it. And I'm still getting used to the technology, dude. It freaked me out. Oh, here's another fun pager story for you, dude. Oh, no. So years later, I was at a music camp. And this is years later. I was at a music camp and I was sharing a room with this guy. His name was Craig, and he was a sax player. Cool guy, dude. I love this dude. And I had in there, I had a marching snare. Okay. And I just put all my stuff up on my wallet, my keys, and my pager on top of the marching snare, and I went to bed. Well, I don't know. Somebody's paging me in the middle of the night for some reason. I don't know why. It was on vibrate. And a marching snare is very, very loud. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't waking me up. And it woke Craig up, but it was so pitch black in there. He had no idea what it was. All I woke up to was him yelling my name, like to wait. And I'm like, what? And I can barely make out a silhouette of him. And he's standing on a chair in the middle of the room. He literally pulled the desk chair over, stood on top of it, was freaking out. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, do you not hear that? And I'm like, hear what? He's like, dude, there's a snake in our room, bro.
Like a rattlesnake?
Yeah. Oh, he was straight up standing on a chair, dude. He's like, there's a snake in our room right now, a rattlesnake. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, and I go to get up, like turn the lights on. He's like, don't get up. He's like, I'm telling you right now, there's a rattlesnake in our room. And I'm going to be honest. I'm like, this is kind of spooking me out right now. And then I hear the, and at first I'm like, whoa. And I'm all, oh, wait a minute. And I just get up and turn the light on. It's my pager, dude. He's like, oh my God. And then he just goes back to bed. It was so funny, dude.
Oh man. Pagers. Now those did have a little clip so you can put them in your belt.
Yeah. And the chain, you don't want to make in case it pops off. You don't want to lose it because the chain will grab it for you. Grabbed it for me. Saved my pager many times.
Nice. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of this stuff I don't see making a comeback, but the stuff that is, I think is pretty cool. Like we talked about like having that entertainment like console with the vinyl record player in it and stuff like that. I think I'd dig having one of those again. Yeah. You know? So it is kind of fun seeing that kind of stuff come back, at least from a collector's standpoint. I think it's pretty cool. But
do you think there's anything that's retro that hasn't come back yet because we're just not there yet? Like, do you see cassettes coming back? I can't imagine cassettes would come back. CDs they're still a reality, but they're fizzling out. Yeah. The thing about CDs that I'm sorry, but the digital, in my opinion, digital world is not going to be able to do this. Is that like we've talked about this before, but like albums, actual CD albums, and the inserts.
Yeah.
Sometimes those artists,
The
they
booklets
really,
are amazing.
The booklets could be
Yeah,
so.
that's a lost start now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And
that's a bummer.
Tool is arguably the best there was at those. Like they're
Oh, dude, yeah, I got
crazy.
Lateralis has like eyeglass thingies.
Yeah.
Where and you can look at
flip it
the
up.
like
Yep.
it's like it makes the thing 3D.
Yep.
You know?
It had these crazy images.
Yeah.
And then a third flip that would flip up and have lenses. Like you're
Yeah,
saying.
the lenses.
Look across
Yeah.
it. Oh my God.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah. You still have it?
I still have it.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah,
That's
I think I
cool.
know exactly where it is even.
I wonder if I still do. Maybe I do. I don't know.
I'm sure there was probably a million other retro gadgets, inventions that we could have talked about. I mean, we could have gone back to like the typewriter and stuff, but
The typewriter.
But and we could be here all day. But I want to hear from you guys.
too.
What's like the coolest piece of retro technology that we didn't talk about
There's
today?
something out there.
Yeah.
You can go further back than we did too, for real.
Yeah.
Like a little bit after the wheel. And then all the way up to 8-track. Wheel to 8-track.
Anywhere in that category.
Anywhere in there.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
beyond.
Let us know, because that was fun. Trip down memory lane for us
Yeah.
old dudes. You know, and if you're too young and none of this made any sense to you, Google it. It's cool stuff.
It is cool stuff, man. And it's also like, I like it because it demonstrates the journey that technology has gone on, the evolution of just technology in general, is that we've been able to make incredible. I mean, if you think about it, the distance from the 8-track to the cloud, that duration's not that many years,
right?
For us to go
It
from
was within our lifetime.
It's within our lifetime. We went this literally. I was in a car when I was younger, and they were playing Creedence Clearwater in the Volkswagen 8-track player. That's a memory I still can conjure up. And to go from that to a digital cloud is unbelievable to me.
Yeah,
it happens. It happens quick, dude. But
I can't wait to read the comments, guys. Drop them down if you got something in mind. But I think good time to wrap up. That was fun.
You guys are awesome. See you next time.